And we rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus news today. Will Smith and Antoine Fuqua have pulled plans to shoot the runaway slave thriller Emancipation in Georgia because of Georgia's restrictive election laws signed by Republican Governor Brian Kemp. They released a statement that goes, "At this moment in time, the nation is coming to terms with its history and is attempting to eliminate vestiges of institutional racism to achieve true racial justice. We cannot, in good conscience, provide economic support to a government that enacts regressive voting laws that are designed to restrict voter access. The new Georgia voting laws are reminiscent of voting impediments that were passed at the end of Reconstruction to prevent many Americans from voting. Regrettably, we feel compelled to move our film production work from Georgia to another state." It's rumored that they will likely shoot the film in Louisiana instead, where the actual events took place. Will Smith will play Peter, a slave who fled a plantation in Louisiana after he was whipped nearly to death. He had to outsmart cold-blooded hunters and the perilous swamps in Louisiana on a torturous journey north. There, he joined the Union Army. This is based on a true story. When Peter showed his bare back during an Army medical examination, photos were taken of the scars from a whipping delivered by an overseer on the plantation owned by John and Bridget Lyons that nearly killed him. The photo came to be known as the Scourged Back and was published in the Independent in 1863 and then in the Harper's Weekly July 4th issue. The photo reached around the world. The evil slave owners and racists, the sadists, got their rocks off to this photo, but it lit a fire under the feet of the people with the heart, the abolitionists, which made them even more dedicated to the cause, and it prompted many free blacks to join the Union Army. The film Emancipation is scheduled to begin filming on June 21st, 2021, this summer. Will Smith will star in the lead role and Antoine Fuqua will direct. Now, here's what you need to know about the voting laws in Georgia. See, this that Jim Crow stuff right here. Brian Kemp signed a bill March 31st. Certain provisions will go into effect on July the 1st. Special ballots will be created for nonpartisan elections. Ballots must be printed in black and white ink on security paper. A cutoff date of 11 days before a primary, general election, or runoff elections for mail-in ballot applications. A deadline for the issuance of absentee ballots at least 25 days before a federal primary, general election, or special election, or 22 days before a municipal general election or primary. A Georgia state driver's license number, ID card number, date of birth, and the last 4 digits of a social security number or another approved form of identification must be printed on the outside of an absentee ballot. Conditions for rejecting absentee ballots if certain requirements are not met. Also, for some reason, they expand the in-person only voting laws. 2 early voting periods are required on a Saturday for each county, with optional voting on Sunday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Hours may be extended to 7 a.m., from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please take advantage of early voting, my sweet Georgia peaches. Please. Shedding light on this has put me in the mood for a shameful Black history fact. Jim Crow is used to reference both the laws that segregated Black and white Americans in the South and the region itself during the period when these laws were enforced, from the late 19th through the mid-20th centuries. Jim Crow was not a real person. It comes from a fictional character used to perpetuate racist stereotypes before the Civil War. A white performer named Thomas Dartmouth Rice created the Jim Crow caricature in the 1830s. Rice was known as the father of minstrelsy. He would wear a blackface and use exaggerated African American dialect while performing his musical act. Jim Crow was intended to be a racist stereotype of an enslaved person. Like many minstrel persons that came after him, the character was portrayed as a clumsy buffoon. Rice didn't invent minstrelsy, but his success helped popularize the stage show format. Other minstrel actors borrowed the Jim Crow routine, and soon whites were using the name as a derogatory term for African Americans. As time passed and slavery was abolished and minstrel shows faded into obscurity, the Jim Crow character lived on. The first Jim Crow laws were passed in the Reconstruction period as a way to limit the rights and resources of newly freed blacks in the South. Black people had to take literary tests in order to be allowed to vote. They went to segregated schools, and Jim Crow laws made it legal for businesses to segregate their customers by race. It is not known exactly how these laws became associated with Jim Crow, but the phrase Jim Crow laws was being used by the late 19th century. An 1892 article from the New York Times used the wording when reporting on Louisiana segregating railroad cars. In 1944, the Detroit chapter of the NAACP held the mock funeral for Jim Crow in 1963. Participants in the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom symbolically buried him. Lyndon B. Johnson tried to bury Jim Crow by signing the Voting Rights Acts of 1965 into law. Today, he's trying to creep back from the grave unless we do something about it. Okay, that's all I have to give you about that because I'm starting to get mad. Let me switch back to the news. Stars Kyrie Irving rejected after a heated exchange over the use of the N-word 2 days ago. Dennis called Kyrie the N-word during a game between the Nets and the Lakers. They got into a scuffle and both were ejected in the third quarter. This is unfortunate because Kyrie has been in the league for 10 years and Dennis for 8. Neither one has gotten ejected from a game before. Their stellar record was ruined, all because Kyrie was losing, from what I heard. All Dennis said was, "Goddamn," N-word, like, back up off me. The next thing I know, Kyrie went off. He even had the nerve to tweet about how offensive the N-word is. It was just trash talk, and Kyrie got all dramatic about it. Kyrie's heart was in the right place in regards to the N-word. It just was the wrong situation to tweet such a powerful tweet. Oh my goodness. Kyrie, how you use losing a basketball game to exploit the pain the N-word has brought the black community is irresponsible and selfish. It's also beyond me. I don't understand you. Don't be goofy. You're making black people look like a joke. Come on now, you're asking for respect, but you're not behaving in a respectable manner. Come on now, get it together. Some people want to downgrade how disrespectful the N-word is, but we do need to dump that word from our vocabulary. If you want to bring this issue in our community to the forefront, please do it for the right reasons. Come on now, be serious. On a much more cheerful note, Keri, Hilson, and Beyonce have ended their beef. Keri Hilson refused to take a picture holding a copy of Juicy magazine with Beyonce on the cover. She recorded a song dissing Beyonce on the track, saying that Beyonce needed to move to the side and go have some children. Keri said that men in the industry pressured her to go after Beyonce. Now see, that's why you don't do negative stuff for other people. You have to think for yourself. But see how people set you up for failure? Now, Keri didn't really go into too much detail about her encounter with Beyonce. She only stated that Beyonce introduced herself and it was a gracious moment and that she believed that Beyonce understood what had happened and there was healing between them. I hope this really happened. I hope Keri Hilson is not delusional or crazy. Anyway, if this did occur, I'm happy that the ladies could move past this. So behave, get your foot off of Keri's neck. We all make mistakes. Grow up. Up next, we have Jesse Williams and his ex-wife, Aryn Drake Lee. They have been ordered to attend a high-conflict parenting course. It is going to be a virtual course for parents who struggle with communicating peacefully with one another. I hope they can resolve their issues because the media is trying to paint her as being a bitter woman. I hope she doesn't lose custody of her children because I have heard about her being angry and maybe even refusing to let the children go with him because he had other women around the children, I think. I don't know. Allegedly. Okay, the final story I have for today is that Media Takeout is saying that Nas is set to become a billionaire in a couple of hours. He was one of the early investors in Coinbase, the cryptocurrency exchange expected to reach over $100 billion in valuation when coin stock lists on Wednesday. Nas's investment firm, Queensbridge Venture Partners, got into Coinbase's Series B round back in 2013 when it raised $25 million. When the company goes public, his investment is expected to be valued at as much as $750 million. Nas also invested in Robinhood in 2013, and he invested in Ring, Lyft, and Dropbox. Congratulations to him. He is an intelligent brother. He deserves it. All of this is alleged because you just have to take that stuff you read on some of these blogs or some of these websites or whatever with a grain of salt, especially the media takeout, because they will make a fool out of you. But anyway, all of this is alleged, and that's all I have today. Thank you for watching. Please like this video and subscribe so I can establish this beautiful channel.